What's up guys, my name is Brandon and welcome back to the 5th episode of the best iOS 10 through 10.2 jailbreak tweaks. So we already took a look at 126 awesome tweaks for your iOS 10 jailbroken device, and we're going to keep it rolling tonight with 29 more amazing tweaks for your iOS 10 jailbroken device. And of course a list of all the tweaks, the themes, the wallpaper, everything you need to know will be down in the description below. Also, if you find yourself installing any of the tweaks I mentioned in this video, I'd really appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into it. The first tweak is called Springtomize 4. Most of you already know about this, but for those that don't, make sure you go ahead and get Springtomize 4. This allows you to customize everything on your device. When I say everything, I mean everything. Animations, app switcher, control center, folders, icons, lock screen, notification center, everything. This is my favorite tweak of all time in Cydia, and I'm not going to be able to go through everything, but if we go into these certain sections, you can see you can set a custom speed for the animations. You have the lock animation, the page scroll animation. If we go out to the control center here, you can see we have custom background color, hide page dots, toggles. I can just go on forever for literally 20 minutes talking about this tweak. Springtomize 4, again, most of you guys have it. If not, go ahead and install it. You're not going to be disappointed. The next tweak is called Don't Stop the Party, and this allows you to play music through resprings. So this is actually a tweak I've been waiting on for many years, and it's surprising that it took so long. But Don't Stop the Party, again, just let you play a song through a respring. So if you're already playing a song through Spotify or just your regular music, and you go to respring after installing something through Cydia, that song is going to keep playing. It's not going to pause, and then you have to go back into music and press play again. Once you come back from the respring, this is just going to continue playing that song all the way through the respring with no pauses. Next up is Fuji, and as you can see here on my lock screen, it looks just like macOS. You can see my picture there. You see it says press home to unlock, and then you have the clock up in the top left, the date and the day up in the top right. Then we have my fingerprint down there. That's actually lock lift, but it makes this look a lot better. But Fuji is right here. It gives you a macOS style lock screen. And you actually apply this through LockHTML. So if we go into LockHTML here, you can see on the themes, we have Fuji clock and Fuji right there inside of LockHTML. And when you click on Fuji, you can see you paste your image in right there. You enter your name, and then you can have all these different options here. The phrase, press home to unlock. You can change the width. You can change the color options to dark mode or non-dark mode, like a light mode, and whatever you want. And you could also set it back to default right there. The only thing I wish this tweak came with was the actual macOS style lock screen background wallpaper, because you do actually have to apply your own wallpaper from the default settings application. The next tweak is called Pixel, and this adds a Google Pixel icon launcher there on your home screen. So if you go ahead and tap and hold on the launcher right there, you can see it brings up a Google box right there. If you go ahead and tap on that, we could just hit whatever, enter in whatever you want, hit return, and it will start Googling, or if you just hit the Google button right there, it will actually search Google for you straight from your home screen. And then when you go back home, you can see it's still up there, and you can go ahead and edit whatever query you put in right there. And then if you hit the X, it just goes right back down to there. Now, the only annoying thing about this tweak is that every time you respring, it resets itself back up to like the top left right there. So you are gonna have to move it a lot, but fortunately it's really easy to move. You just hold on it and drag. You don't even have to hold on it, you just tap on it and drag very easily. So this would be really cool if you're trying to emulate a Google Pixel. If you wanted to have like an Android style home screen and add this in there, it would look really cool. Next up is Defluxit, and this actually fades in and out the notifications on your lock screen. So you can see we have this really subtle fade effect on the top and bottom of our notifications on our lock screen. And if we go into the settings here, you can see you can change the fade percentage for both the top and the bottom. It's really cool, and it's definitely, it doesn't seem like much right now, but once you start using this, you're gonna find out just how awesome this tweak actually is. Now, one thing I did want to note is that this tweak did not work for me at first, but all I had to do is go in and disable and re-enable it and respring, and then it did start working. So if you install this and it's not working, just try that out. Next up is TabCount. This just simply shows you the amount of tabs open in Safari without having to actually go and press and hold on the Windows button right there. You can just see, just from when we're scrolling in Safari, you can see down there the tabs. We have 5 right there, meaning that we have 5 tabs open right now in Safari. This is great if you're like me and you have 10 billion tabs open all the time in Safari. This is a great reminder to go ahead and close out some of those tabs. Next up is StatusPeek 2, and this actually allows you to see the status bar by swiping down on the top of the screen when you're in a full screen application. So you can see here we're inside of some game, I forget, Chicken Scream. So if we go ahead and swipe down from the top, you can see instead of bringing down the notification center, we actually bring down the status bar right there. You can see the little 100% over there on the right side and my battery status bar right there. And then if you swipe again, that brings down the notification center. So this is really handy if you're inside of a full screen game or application and you just want to see the time really quick without having to go back to the home screen. This is a a quick and easy way to do so. Next up is Panorama Papers, and this allows you to set basically like a panorama image as your background, your wallpaper on your home screen. So you can see you can set up to 7 images for each different page. So that means that when you go to each different page, it's going to have a new image. And all you have to do is click on select image and then select the image inside of your Photos application. You can actually preview it by clicking preview. Then you can click delete and delete it and select a new one. So this is really cool if you have a panorama image and you maybe want to break it up into different pages, or if you just wanted to have a new look on each screen on your home screen, this is a way to do so. Next up is Brightify, and this adds a white skin to the Spotify application as opposed to the dark theme that Spotify comes with by default. So you can see here in each section we have this really light theme that makes it look really cool and really different than your average Spotify. Next up is a tweak called Delay Read Receipts, and this actually postpones the sending read receipts right here until you start typing. So you won't send somebody the read receipt if you have them turned on until you actually start typing. So you can view the image, or you can view the text rather, all you want, or an image, all you want, but it won't show that it was read until you start typing. So this will buy you some time to actually think about what you want to say without showing them that you read the message a long time ago. Next up is Taptap Statusbar, and this allows you to just simply tap on the status bar to hide it. And if we go ahead and tap again, you can see it comes back. I know it's kind of hard to see because I just have 2 things in the status bar there, the 100% and then that little icon there, but if we press, you can see it goes away, press again, and it comes back very simply. I know there's a lot of other tweaks that do something similar like Wink and like Movable 9, but this makes it just very easy to just tap and hide, which I'm a big fan of. Next up is Safe Alarm 3, and this gives you additional settings inside of your alarm clock settings. So if you go ahead to add an alarm, you can see we have a little option down here for Safe Alarm 3. If you go ahead and tap on that, you can see we have the snooze duration, so you can change the duration of the snooze. You can have a fade in, a fade out. You can have a vibrate on ring, vibrate on silent, auto dismiss. You can have a calculator alarm, which is my actual favorite feature from this tweak. If you go ahead and enable that, you can set the difficulty to something like normal, easy, hard, or lifeless. So basically your alarm won't go off until you solve this calculation. So if it's going to be like a multiplication problem. Next up is Safe Alarm 3, and this adds additional features to the alarm clock in iOS. So if we go into set an alarm, if we go ahead and scroll down, you can see we have Safe Alarm 3. If we go ahead and enable that, you can see we have the snooze duration, we have the fade in duration, vibrate on ring. You can set the custom volume there for the alarm. You have the auto dismiss time, the dismiss action. Then we have the calculator alarm, which is my favorite feature of Safe Alarm 3. If you go ahead and enable that, you can see we have the difficulty here from easy to lifeless, and it actually won't turn off the alarm until you solve this multiplication problem. So yeah, if you use your alarm clock a lot, you should definitely check out Safe Alarm 3. Next up is Polus, and this is a flip control center or a CC settings alternative. So as you can see in my control center here, if I go ahead and swipe on the top, you can see we can actually scroll through different toggles. And if we go into the settings for Polus here, you can see we have icon packs configuration. And if we go into configuration, you can see you can set the settings or whatever toggles you want in the bottom shelf, and then also in the top shelf right here. You can also hide buttons here as well. So as you can see, I have the calculator hidden right there. So this is a great alternative to Flip Control Center and CC settings, which CC settings is actually deprecated now, but it's a great alternative to Flip Control Center. Now, if we go back to the control center, you're going to notice how small it is. It's a lot smaller than your normal control center, and that's thanks to a tweak called MiniCC. This does exactly what it sounds like it does. It just makes the control center a lot smaller for a much cleaner look. And if you're still wondering how my control center looks like that, you're going to want this next tweak called Onion. This actually removes all the borders and the background to make it look as clean as it does. It makes it look like flat and makes the icons almost look like they're floating. And the tweak describes it as removing one of the background layers from the control center. So yeah, it looks really good, especially when you add all 3 of these tweaks together. Next up is a tweak called PulseHUD, and this gives you a pulse effect on your springboard there when you turn the volume up and down. That actually replaces the volume HUD. So we've seen tons of different variations of volume HUD tweaks inside of Cydia, but this is the most unique one I've seen yet, and it's actually my favorite one yet. So if you go into the settings for PulseHUD here, you can see you have a kill switch, and then you have the pulse color, so you can actually change the color right there to whatever color you want. You also have a dynamic pulse color that you could change right here from red to green if you wanted to do so. Next up is DroidBars, and this shrinks the top section of your messages up here at the top. You can see it's actually shrunk a little bit. It also hides the picture and the name of the person you're texting. So this gives it a much cleaner look, but it can get kind of annoying if you're kind of wondering who you're texting and you can't see it right there at the top. But that's just the payoff you're going to have to do if you want this clean look inside of messages. Next up is QuickDialPro, and this allows you to simply tap and hold on a button here in the phone application, and you can see it brings up a shortcut menu here to call, message, or FaceTime the number we have selected right there. So you can see it spits out that number by simply tapping and holding on the 1, and that's actually a predetermined number that I set up inside of settings. So we've seen a tweak like this before where you simply tap and hold on a button to call somebody, but this actually gives you 3 options. You can actually message, FaceTime, or call from simply tapping and holding on a number inside the phone application. So if we go through these settings here, you can see we have the numbers 0 through 9. If you go ahead and tap and hold on one, you can simply change the number right there, and it takes effect right away without a respring. Next up is a tweak called Moose, and this changes the color of the selection text. So when you go ahead and select your text, you can see the caret right there, the color of the background, the highlight color there, so to speak, is actually changed to red because that's what I selected. And that's exactly what Moose does. If we go into the settings here for Moose, you can see you have custom color, the pretty much kill switch right there, and you can select your color right here to any color you want. This is just another one of those very simple, very subtle tweaks that makes your device unique. Next up is Molar, and this allows you to hook up a Bluetooth keyboard and use it on your iPhone. So you can see here in the settings, we have all these different features for App Switcher, Launcher, Key Sheet. You have all these little commands right here that you can press. You have the layout, you have the launchers, you have appearance, you have all these different settings, and it's going to make typing and everything a lot easier and a lot more fun, especially with games, using a keyboard on your iPhone as opposed to the built-in default keyboard on iOS. Next up is MailClientDefault 10, and this just changes the default mail client that you compose emails from to, you can change it to Spark, Gmail, Outlook, Airmail, or Yahoo Mail. It's very straightforward and great for those of you who use third-party applications like this on your device. Next up is MoonPhase, and this shows the current phase of the moon here in the status bar right next to the time. So you can see here in the settings, you can also show this on the lock screen if you want. I prefer it not to be on the lock screen just because I like a simple and clean look on the lock screen, but you can enable that if you want. You can have the show real moon and status bar. You have all these different options down here. It's really cool. It seems kind of pointless at first, but it's actually really cool as you start using it. It actually updates every minute with your clock. Next up is AlphaPaper, and this allows you to change the transparency and the overlay on your lock screen and home screen. So as you can see here, mine's at 1.0, and if we go to the lock screen, you can see it's very bright, but if we go ahead and lower that down to say 0.29 and lock our screen, you can see it got a lot darker. And that's exactly what this tweak does. And you can see here, you can also enable this for the home screen, but it only works on iOS 10.1.1. This is really great for those themers out there that love to change the overlay and the transparencies of their lock screen and home screen wallpapers. Next up is a tweak called Dejavu, and this doesn't allow you to add the same song to the same playlist. So usually in default iOS, you can add a song to the same playlist multiple times, and it results in duplicates being inside of that playlist. Well, with this tweak, it stops that and only allows the song to be in the playlist one time. So as you can see here in this playlist, we have Coming Out Strong by Future. If we go ahead to the song right here and go to add to a playlist and try to add it to the same playlist, you can see it's grayed out, and when you click on it, it says song already added. So this is an awesome tweak and a must-have if you do download a lot of music and you use the default music application on your iOS device a lot. Next up is a tweak called MaskMe 10, and this actually filters out certain words and names and replaces them with other names or words that you select. So let me give you an example. You can see here name changer. So if somebody sent a message that was named Emily or named Andrea, it would actually show up as Johnny instead of Emily or Andrea. And you can see here for the content changer, if somebody sends a text saying yo, LMAO, or LOL, it will actually result in the text saying open to view. And then of course, when you go into the actual message itself, it will show yo, LMAO, or LOL. And the same for the names as well, but just on the lock screen, or before you actually get into the message itself, it's going to show this just to filter it so nobody can pick up your phone and see who's texting you or whatever. I was going to make another side chick joke, but I think I already used that one up, so I'm not going to use it again. And some people thought I was actually serious last time when I was saying that, so I don't want to get people mad. Next up is a tweak called PreferMyFi, and this allows you to prioritize networks, your Wi-Fi networks, so that it connects to one over the other. So this is great if you have two bands on your router, so like a 2.4 and a 5 gigahertz band. This can actually prefer and prioritize the 5 gigahertz band over the 2.4. So all you have to do is enter in your SSID and password for the network 1 and then the network 2 right there, and then enable it and you're good to go. Next up is ColorBanners 2, and this is a very popular tweak that I just haven't covered yet on the channel, so I wanted to cover it and I wanted to put it at the end because most people know about it. But all this does is change the banner color of your notifications. So if we go ahead and test the notification center there, you can see we have brown, we have a green one, we have all these different colors for our notifications, and it looks really, really good and different. You can see right there, it really just spices up your device. If we go ahead and test the lock screen, you can see how they look on the lock screen right there. Looks really good. And if we go into the settings for the banners, you can see we have the kill switch right there. We have gradient. You can use constant colors. You could change the alpha color like the transparency. You can prefer white text, you can hide the grabber and things like that. Next up is ColorFlow 3, and this is another one of those very popular tweaks that I wanted to have at the end because most people know about it. If not, go download it now. Don't even waste your time watching this. Go download this tweak right now. This is one of my all-time favorite tweaks, and it simply changes the color and the whole look of the music UI and matches the colors on the music UI with the album artwork. So as you can see here, we have this like brown and blue color that matches with Travis Scott's album. If we go to the next one, you can see Lil Uzi Vert. It changes it to that brown, black, and blue color just like the cover art, and it just goes on and it matches every single cover art out there. So that is ColorFlow 3. Again, one of the most known tweaks, one of the best tweaks, aesthetic tweaks, in my opinion, that you can possibly get inside of Cydia. And the final tweak is HideMeX, another very popular tweak, and it's actually a great alternative to Springtomize 4. This allows you to hide and change tons of things just like Springtomize, and some would argue that this is actually better than Springtomize 4. I'm more biased towards Springtomize, and I just love Springtomize 4, but to each their own. I can see how you would use HideMeX over Springtomize. But as you can see here, we have the alerts. You have all these different options right there for alerts, for animations. You have all these animation options there for the dock. You have pretty much just the same amount of options to configure as Springtomize 4, if not more than Springtomize 4. So HideMeX, another one of those must-have tweaks, but I would only get it if you don't already have Springtomize 4 purchased. So there you have it, guys. Those are 29 more awesome tweaks for your iOS 10 through 10.2 jailbroken device. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more of these in the future. Also, leave a comment down below with your favorite tweak and what tweaks you have installed on your device that I maybe haven't covered on the channel yet. Also, shout out to all the people on the live stream right now. I actually stream this entire thing on YouTube live, so make sure you have that bell icon tick down in the next to the subscribe button below the description, and make sure you have that turned on so you can see when I go live, because I do them at random times. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon.